Hennythemoor reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing today, man? Hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. Well, it's really Memorial Day. I'm tripping. But, I went live earlier with my boy Landlord, gave y'all some good quality content. And, I couldn't stay away too long, man. So I'm back. The liquor store has reopened its doors. I know y'all out still doing some celebrating. So, it's time for a liquor store run, man. So come on in. We got hen, gin, and whatever it takes to make you sin. So, just come on through and we're going to get drunk in the Dallas Cowboy content together, man. So on your way into the liquor store, man, I need y'all to do a couple things for me. I need y'all to go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that share button. I also need you, man, get your hand prepped because I need y'all to slap up some Eagles fans, man. If you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, man, you will receive half off all the merchandise inside of the liquor store. And, we still got everything you want. We got the Hennessy, the gin. We got Eagles tears, man. We got Cowboy readers, whatever you need, to turn up and do your thing is in stock. So y'all just tap on in. Make sure y'all use your discount while all the supplies last, man. So I'm gonna give y'all, hey, what's up with you, Miss Regina Green? So over it. My guy Justin Kitchen tapping in. Tyler too, I see you. I appreciate y'all for taking time out of y'all day to come through, show love to the channel. Please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that share button, man. Let them know the liquor store is open for business. Also, hey, JC, what's good with you, man? Thank you for tapping in, showing love to the content, man. Real talk. So, also, we are still doing the Dallas Cowboy raffle for the jersey. I'm actually going to give y'all an update on it, at the beginning of the show. So, if you want to still participate, you got until the 31st to get your raffle entries in. It's going to be $5 per entry, and the winner will receive a Dallas Cowboy jersey. Let me just know if you win. Let me know your mailing address, the jersey size, the color, all those little things. Let me know so I can get it sent out to you if you actually do win the jersey. And if that sounds like something you want to participate in, or if you just want to support the channel and the content, the Cash App is $Hennythemoor. Also, man, let some folks know about the liquor store. Even if they ain't Dallas Cowboy fans, we like trolls. We like making them mad. Eagles fans, they ain't gonna do nothing but come in and eat a little bit of shit and talk crazy. So, if you know anybody like football, or somebody's a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, let them know about the liquor store and tell them to subscribe. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and right now we're at 884 people right now. So it's getting real close. We've been doing a lot of grinding, a lot of persevering. Well, 885 actually. So, we've been doing a lot of legwork to try and build this content, build this platform, and it's coming to fruition at this point. So, just keep letting folks know about the liquor store, keep liking, keep sharing, and I appreciate y'all. So, let's jump into it, though. I'm going to give y'all these raffle updates real quick, and then we're going to jump right into the content, man. So, as you know, hey, what's up with you, Joshua Fisher? Thanks for tapping in and showing love to the channel, man. I appreciate you. So as you know, man, we've been doing a raffle this entire month, and it's going to be for a Dallas Cowboy jersey. So these are the entries and where everybody stands right now. And then once we get through the entries, we'll jump right to the content. Hey, Demetrius Adams, I see you. Thanks for tapping into the liquor store, man. So Michael Lockhart, you got 4 entries. Marquetta, you have 15 entries. So salute to you. Mickey, if you out there, you have the best odds of winning the Dallas Cowboy jersey, man. You got 28 entries, so salute to you. Neil, you got 18 entries, so salute to you. Donald Holmes, you sent some entries earlier. After that, you now have 14 entries, so salute to you. Dwayne Brown, you got 12 entries, salute. Stephen Jones, you got 2, and not that Stephen Jones. The real Stephen Jones. This is the good Stephen Jones. He ain't penny pincher. He ain't talking about pie or cap or nothing, but that Stephen Jones sent 2 entries. So salute to you, brother. Antonio Cole, you got 4 entries in here. Tyler Sloan, you got 2 of them. JC from JC Cowboy Network, you have, let's see, you got 2 of them. David Sorrells, you got 2. Sharon Bell, you have an entry. DC for Life Texas, you got 8 entries. Christopher Boats, you got 2 entries. Salter, you have 2 entries. Justin, you have 17 entries. Taiwan, you got 5 of them. Freight Train, you got 4 entries. King G, you got 9. Richard Davis has 1. Michael McQuay has 5. T Smooth from T Smooth TV has 1. Michael Nelson, you got 4 entries, so salute. Ruben Hernandez, you got an entry. Hoodlum, you got 2 of them. Desmond Ironman, you got 2. Kevin Richards has 4. S.A. Richburg, you got 2. Triple D, you have 2. Daisy Clark has 1. Dr. Otto has 3. Bobby Budget, you got an entry. My guy Philly got 3 entries. Coach Marv has an entry. K Montgomery has an entry. And Blake Hart, you got 2 entries. So, that is the current standings for the Dallas Cowboys jersey raffle. Those are all the entries that I have in. So I appreciate everybody that supported, that's donated, that's sent. And if you want to continue to improve your odds of winning the jersey, you got between now and the 31st to get your entries in. And then, right after this raffle, we will move on to the Dallas Cowboy ticket raffle. So salute to y'all and thank y'all. So now that I got that out of the way, man, let's talk about some of the things going around. We got 1,000. It's the off season, so there's about 1,000 different lists floating around about player rankings. This person is better than that person, so on and so forth, man. So it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. There's not any real football going on at this time, but I am going to react to some of these. We're going to take a look at some of these lists. Some of them are pretty decent, some of them are horrible. And of course I'm gonna provide proper context for why I like them and why I don't. So let's start with this running back list they got floating around here. This is from Pro Football Focus. This is their top 10 for running backs, going into the 2022 season. So let's take a look. They have Nick Chubb as running back number 1. Derrick Henry is running back number 2. Christian McCaffrey is running back number 3, according to them. Josh Jacobs, who was the reigning rushing champion, right? He led the league in rushing yards last year. They have him ranked as the 4th overall running back, according to them anyway. Jonathan Taylor, is ranked as the 5th running back. Saquon Barkley, number 6. Aaron Jones, number 7. The Dallas Cowboys' own Tony Pollard is ranked as number 8. They got Austin Eckler at number 9, and then Dalvin Cook at number 10. So that is the list from Pro Football Focus. That's who they believe the top 10 running backs are going into the season. Tyler said Pollard is better than Barkley right now, in my opinion. All right, and listen, I'm gonna say a couple of things. I am fine with any list that includes Tony Pollard as a top 10 running back, because right now, currently, he's he made a Pro Bowl selection last year, rushed for over 1,000 yards, averaged over 5 yards an attempt. Currently averages over 5 yards an attempt for his entire career. So I am good with Tony Pollard being in the top 10. And it really comes down to what the grading scale is when it comes to these lists. Are we looking at overall body of work? Are we just looking at how they perform based off of last season? So there's wiggle rooms to put whoever you want wherever you want. So listen, we were just going strictly based off last season. That Josh Jacobs should have been number 1, right? He led the league in rushing. So he was the best running back last year according to the numbers, and he did that on a team that didn't even make the playoffs. They had some issues all around that team, and he was still a very bright spot for them. So it's just depending on what's the proper context. He said, "What up, Hennythemoor? I think Tony's going to be ready for the Cowboys this year." And listen, I definitely think Tony Pollard will be higher than that. Yeah, it just really depends on how you look at it. Like I said, Tony Pollard made a Pro Bowl selection last year. Made a Pro Bowl selection, averages over 5 yards. So if it's just a list based off last year, Tony Pollard is a little bit too low too. But I don't know what they use to come up with these lists. They always put these lists out, but they never put the criteria to make the list. You know what I mean? So we always have to infer. But whatever. I'm not gonna lose sleep about it. No, either way, at least be respectful. As long as Tony Pollard is on the top 10 list, no, I ain't gonna lose too much sleep. I would, however, have him over Aaron Jones. If it was just based off of last season, Tony Pollard, in my opinion, had a better season than Aaron Jones. Oh, Derrick Henry is still a dog. So I think that Tony Pollard could at least be up maybe 2 spots. He might be number 5, maybe. At worst. But as long as he's on the top 10, I'm not going to know too much. Be pressed, about it. Whatever. Let's get Dalvin Cook. Listen, if Dalvin Cook gets released, I don't mind adding him. We already know that Brian Schottenheimer has a pedigree of wanting to run the ball, running a power running scheme, utilizing play action off of that. So I think Dalvin Cook will fit fine. And even if you can't keep Dalvin Cook and Tony Pollard together long term, I would at least go get Dalvin Cook to improve my chances of winning a championship this year. You know what I mean? Because he's great. Dalvin Cook's average, he's had 4 consecutive seasons of having 1,100 yards rushing. So Dalvin Cook, no doubt, is one of the best running backs in the league. So, I would. Now Pollard's going to be the main guy. I say top 3 if he's healthy. The way he runs on top of catches the ball, the opportunity will be endless for Tony Pollard. And see, this is the thing. I believe Tony Pollard will have a good season too. But, it just really depends on, like I said, it really depends on what the list is based on. If it's based on what you've actually done and not projection, then I understand it. But I definitely think in a West Coast offense, especially with Tony Pollard having a receiver background and return background, having more chances to catch the ball out of the backfield, running wheel routes, Texas routes, things along those lines, I definitely do think Tony Pollard can have, close to an 1,800-yard season yard-wise. I could see Tony Pollard realistically being able to rush for 11 to 1,200 yards and catch 5 to 600 yards worth of balls, in the passing game. So I definitely think Tony Pollard could have about 1,800 yards, double-digit touchdowns. But I also think because of that, I do think he'll play his way out of Dallas, which was one of the reasons I wanted him to get a long-term deal done with Tony Pollard. Right? Because he'll have earned that money. But I do think he's set up to be successful. Tyler, too, said, I wouldn't mind bringing in Dalvin for a season. He could help Deuce develop. Yeah, but the same could be said for and really, man, like Deuce just being on a team, getting reps. Being on a team, just getting reps. Being around a guy like Tony, like, listen, he can learn some things from Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard has been in the league, quite some time now. He's a veteran running back, Pro Bowl running back. He can learn stuff from him. But like the thing I really want from Dalvin Cook is his production. Having that improved 1-2 punch, I would love that. He said, did West make it home? Yes, West made it home. He's good. He's out there. He's supposed to be going live. I've been holding off hitting this live button, wait till he went live to do his show, but I ain't seen him. So he probably be going live anytime, any second now. Yo, Stephen Harrison, what's up, Mitch, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love. Slim Cuddy said, I'd rather bring back Zeke. Well, this is the sort of thing with Zeke. I'm not really sure how the Dallas Cowboys would be able to bring him back. They already gave away his number for one. And even though I know he said he wouldn't mind wearing number 15, you really can't even sign Ezekiel Elliott back until after June the 2nd. The actual transaction involving Ezekiel Elliott will not clear until then. That's why the Dallas Cowboys won't receive the extra $10 million until, after June the 1st. So, that transaction with Zeke hasn't even cleared yet, because the Dallas Cowboys won't get that extra $10 million from him getting cut until, after June the 1st. So, theoretically, if you wanted to bring Zeke back, I think you will have to wait until next week. I could be wrong about that, but, just from the way that it sounds, I think you have to wait till after June the 1st until that transaction cleared before you do anything else with Zeke. He said, Hennythemoor, would you bring Zeke back? I would bring Zeke back depending on what the Dallas Cowboys do, with the other running backs. You know what I'm saying? Because as of right now, you've gotten worse in the running back room. I know Ezekiel Elliott was not the same as Ezekiel Elliott that was winning rushing titles, making all-pro teams, this, that, and the third. But, Ezekiel Elliott was your short yardage back. He was your power back. He was the guy that you like to put in goal line situations, and he was your best pass protector when it came to the pass game. So, there is still a void left by Ezekiel Elliott's absence. If none of these young guys they brought in, pan out, show you anything during the first part of the season, where it be preseason or maybe week 1, week 2, I wouldn't mind bringing Ezekiel Elliott back. You cut him, but the guys on the team showing that they can't handle the job. They show that they can't handle the job, then yeah, bring them back. Or if you can't improve over Ezekiel Elliott, if you don't go sign a Dalvin Cook or do this or that, then yeah, bring them back. So no, those are the situations. There's always a situation where you can go back and bring talent in. But there's even situations where you could bring back Anthony Brown if needed be. You know what I mean? So if it's best for the team, you can make it happen. If it's best for the team, make it happen. That's cool. Even if we went after Cooks, it would be a while before he signs. Yeah. I definitely think that they're going to wait until Ezekiel Elliott's. Well, I definitely think Ezekiel Elliott's going to wait till the right situation comes forward for him. I don't think he's too stressed about money. I don't think he's too pressed about having to get a certain number of carries. I think Ezekiel Elliott wants to go at this point in his career. I think he wants to go to a contender. I think as long as he can go and get some carries on a team that has aspirations for winning a championship, I think Zeke will we'll find him a spot. I think a team and there's plenty of teams that still need running backs. I think Buffalo still needs a running back. They're a team that they have playoff aspirations, but they need a little bit more from their running game outside of just the Josh Allen design runs. So I think there are places for Ezekiel Elliott to go. And even back to Dallas, like I said, if these other guys we brought in can't fill the void he left behind, there's no shame in trying to bring him back. Hey, appreciate you, Dropson Fisher. He said hit them likes and shares, Henny a real one. Hey, I try to bring y'all good content as often as I can, man. So yeah, I need y'all, please hit that like and share button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to join, the channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to participate in the raffles, just hit the cash out. So yeah, that's where I stand with that. I do think Tony Pollard is a top 10 running back. I think he needs to be a little bit higher than where they have him ranked. But I'm not gonna fight nobody about it. True Cowboys fan think Zeke going to the Chargers. I don't think Zeke going to the Chargers. The reason being, we already seen that Ezekiel Elliott and Kellen Moore cannot coexist. Kellen Moore is a very pass happy offensive coordinator. Ezekiel Elliott's touches decline under Kellen Moore. So, I don't necessarily think that would be a match made in heaven. I'm not saying that Zeke doesn't personally like Kellen Moore or anything like that. I just think Zeke would rather go to a team that runs the ball and gives him an opportunity to touch it. And then they just re-signed Austin Eckler. So, I don't really see the scheme fit for Ezekiel Elliott over there. All right, so let's talk about this next one. What are your feelings about Zeke still hasn't signed to anyone? Like I said, I think Zeke, given the opportunity, I wouldn't mind given the opportunity under the right circumstances. I wouldn't mind getting Ezekiel Elliott back. And especially with veteran players like Zeke, you could take your time, do your own due diligence, think on it before you sign with a team. You know what I'm saying? It's more important to try and win a championship in my opinion, now than it is trying to get paid. I'm sure he can go get a decent contract from a team that needs a running back, but isn't really a championship contender. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can go. Now, what's a bad team in the NFL right now? Like think of a super sorry team, like the Arizona Cardinals, right? They're not going to have their star. They're not going to have their star quarterback. They got rid of D Hop. They're not expected to make any noise. I'm sure that he can sign with the Cardinals. Get decent money and go play or something like that. But I think at this point of his career, having made quite a bit of money, having done pretty much everything except win a championship, I think that Zeke is going to just take his time. The sorry ass Texans. I think Zeke will take his time before deciding. He said, "I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked. No one has signed him for real." It be like that sometimes, but you gotta think about it though. When you got options, you could wait around for a while. Like I said, nobody signed DeAndre Hopkins yet either. You know what I'm saying? I know that he ain't been on the open market as long as Zeke, but it takes time to get these deals done. You got to get through the numbers. You got to make sure there's mutual interest. The player got to be sold on it. Things like that take a little bit of time. It take a little bit of time. So I'm sure when it's closer to the season or there's no rush. Even if it's after the season starts. A player like Zeke doesn't necessarily need a training camp. He doesn't necessarily need OTAs or training camps or a preseason. I'm sure. Hold on, this is Wes calling. Yo, you live, Nick? Can you hear me? Yeah, you live, cuz. Talk to me.
Oh, my God. We can't be live. Never mind. I got to call you back, man.
All right. Call me back.
It's a crazy conversation.
Bet. Okay. So West Coast will tap back with me later. He got something crazy to tell me. So, yeah. But let's talk about this next list. So these are supposed to be the top 5 new quarterback wide receiver duos in the NFL for the 2023 season. They got Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson as the number 1. Dak Prescott and Brandon Cooks as number 2. Trevor Sunshine Lawrence and Calvin Ridley at number 3. Justin Fields and DJ Moore at number 4. Lamar Jackson and Odell Beckham at number 5. Interesting list. Hey, Chris Johnson said I'm working OT on the holiday. Hey, man. Rain, sleet, or snow. Y'all gonna have to get this content, man. Rain, sleet, or snow. I gotta come in and give y'all this quality content, man. So I can't take no days off. And I enjoy it too, man. I enjoy talking Dallas Cowboy content. So that's why I'm on so often. But listen, I definitely do agree with that list. I'm gonna tell you why. Look at Dak Prescott's track record when it comes to playing with the new wide receivers. They usually pan out pretty damn good. It usually has been some stellar production between them. Case in point, look at Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, 2018. No Kirkin. This is true. This is for new quarterback wide receiver combos. The key word is new. Kirk Cousins and Jefferson have been playing together for years, and so has Stafford and Cup. This is not the top wide receiver quarterback combos in the NFL. They said these are going to be the best new connections. And the key word is new. So these are everybody listed. This is their first year playing together. So that's the context for that list. Just to verify. But look at the track record for Dak Prescott and these veteran wide receiver that he ends up acquiring. Yes, sir. Yeah, just new. So peep this. 2018, Dak Prescott got Amari Cooper. They only played together 9 games. But in those 9 games, Amari Cooper got 725 yards receiving, averaged 13.7 yards a catch, and had, he had 6 receiving touchdowns. Right, so they had stellar production. Had stellar production together their first year in a limited amount of time, because they only played together in 9 games. So yeah, so they had a great connection, great production. Then you look at Dak Prescott when he got Randall Cobb in 2019. Randall Cobb had multiple down seasons before coming to the Dallas Cowboys. And, a lot of people will point out that he had a resurgent year, with Dak Prescott. So let me get the exact numbers pulled up. Jameson Taylor, what's up with you, man? That Cook's about to cook them DBs. Yeah. And then think about it. Brandon Cook's going to be playing a bunch of cornerback twos. He's been a number 1 receiver his entire career, and now all they got to do is play the team's second best cornerbacks when he's been playing their best corners his entire career. So you look at Randall Cobb, his singular season in Dallas. After failing to crack 400 yards the year before, after not having an 800-yard season since 2015, he came back with Dallas at 828 yards, averaged 15.1 yards a catch, and had 3 touchdowns on the year. So Dak Prescott generally puts up good numbers, when he receives a veteran wide receiver. And when you look at what Brandon Cooks did even last year, Brandon Cooks had bad quarterback play. He was being guarded by number 1 wide receivers. He was trying to force his way out of Houston because he was not happy there. Missed a game here and there. He still had 699 yards, which would have been second on the Dallas Cowboys, because nobody else on the team, even had 500 yards outside of CD Lamb. So, I definitely do agree with the list. Brandon Cooks is going to get a lot of opportunities as cornerback 1 to make plays. Dak Prescott is not the type of guy to force feed guys the ball either. So, Brandon Cooks, I expect him to win a lot against these second corners. So, I expect him to get the ball a lot. I realistically can see, especially in the West Coast offense, I could realistically see Brandon Cooks getting anywhere between 800 and 1,000 yards with Dak Prescott. As a cornerback too. As a cornerback too, as a wide receiver too, I can see him getting anywhere between 800 and 1,000 yards with Dak Prescott this season. Just based on his skill level, Dak Prescott's skill level, and the fact that his job has gotten easier since CD Lamb is going to be the guy that receives the majority of the bracket coverage, that will receive a majority of the double coverage, things along those lines. So because his job has gotten easier, and he has not declined as a player, he still runs a 4.3, still was very productive last year, I can believe that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not, and listen, look at the rest of the list. Garrett Wilson is a number 1 receiver. Calvin Ridley is probably gonna be the number 1. Odell Beckham's a number 1. DJ Moore's a number 1. Of all the guys on this list, Brandon Cooks has the easiest job. Hey, Jameson Taylor, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping into the liquor store and showing love to the channel, man. I appreciate you. I hope all is well with you, my guy. I hope all is well. Also, y'all, please hit that like button, man. I got 20 folks in here and ain't 20 likes on the page this shit. So please hit that like button, hit that share button, man. Let them folks know the liquor store's open for business, man. So yeah. All right, so let's take a look. See, my mom took me to dialysis early in the morning, Henny. Okay. So this is another top 10 list. This one is horrible. I'm gonna just throw that out there right now. So these are the top 10 wide receivers. I agree with Davante Adams. Davante Adams is still the best wide receiver in the NFL to me, based on his production, based on the things he's done. Even when the Raiders had a down season, he was not the cause of it. He still did the Davante Adams type things. So he's still wide receiver number 1 to me. You can have an argument about Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, yada yada. Let's go a little bit further down. The argument you cannot have The argument you cannot have is for Terry McLaurin to be over CD Lamb. I like Terry McLaurin. I think he's a very good wide receiver. I do not think he's a top 10 wide receiver. Furthermore, I do not think that he's a better wide receiver than CD Lamb. Because remember, even if we're just going off of career production, right? Let me take a look at Terry McLaurin career production, and then we'll take a look at CD Lamb's career production. So Terry has played one more season, so he has more yardage than CD Lamb. However, over the past 2 seasons, CD Lamb has more touchdowns and more yardage than Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin had 1,191 yards last season. CD Lamb had over 1,300. Terry McLaurin only had 5 receiving touchdowns. CD Lamb had 9. The year before that, he had 1,053 and 5 touchdowns. Well, we know that CD Lamb had over 1,100 yards, right? So over the last 2 seasons, CD Lamb has been a more productive wide receiver than Terry McLaurin, right? So CD Lamb was the guy that made an All-Pro selection. CD Lamb was the guy, setting franchise records for his team, not the other way around. So I like Terry McLaurin. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I have nothing bad to say about him outside of the fact that he is not better than CD Lamb. He's not better than CD Lamb. He's not better than Deebo Samuel either. Like, I know that Deebo Samuel did not have a Deebo Samuel type of season, but Terry McLaurin is not better than Deebo Samuel. So and really, truth be told, when it comes down to these wide receiver lists, there's so many great playmakers out there in the league. I understand why there's so much, so many different variables, so many different lists with different players on them. There's a ton of great wide receivers. It's a passing league, so a lot of these guys have great numbers. A lot of these guys got great numbers of production. But like Terry McLaurin Terry McLaurin is easy for me to see that CD Lamb is a better player. It's easy. Oh, they play against Athletics tonight, 8:07 p.m. Tell me. Okay, cool. Well, shout out to your Braves, man. I hope they're successful. So yeah, man, that's a layup. That's a layup. CD Lamb definitely should be higher on the list than Terry McLaurin. You can make arguments for and against anybody else, but that's one I'm not going to give. Whoever made this, I feel like is a Washington Commanders fan. I feel like a Washington Commanders fan, made this list, and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I understand that some people might think that of Terry McLaurin being a top 10 player, but I don't. Moving along. Now we're talking about duos according to Pro Football Focus. Yeah, they were definitely anti-Dallas with that. Definitely anti-Dallas. So Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle, they have number 1 as the best, wide receiving duo. I get it. Both of them had stellar seasons, if I'm not mistaken. They're the fastest 2 guys on this list. Both of them run 4.3, 4.2s, whatever. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins had outstanding production. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, I get it. They both made it to the Super Bowl. But here are my guys, man. CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at it. Especially since the guys they got ahead of them actually have played together. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for that. Hey, Tommy, I'm doing great, man. I'm having a great Memorial Day so far, brother. Having a great Memorial Day. At least our duo is higher than the Niners. Yes, I agree with that. Because they didn't listen. Like, Deebo Samuel didn't get off like that last year. They have not both had great seasons at one time together. Either is IU. Hey, appreciate you for the subscribe, man. It said Mac the Shack. I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel and showing love, my guy. I do. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I get it. Those other guys, they played together. They were productive together. Cool. But it goes to show you the power of having two wide receivers that are both former number ones. CeeDee Lamb was a number one last year, and even the year before, when Amari Cooper was still on the team, he was our team's leading receiver in terms of yardage. So CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver in the All-Pro. Brandon Cooks has been he said Cowboys have a top 4 duo and top 3 receiving core. We definitely have a top 3 receiving core if Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert do what we expect them to do. I'm very high on Jalen Tolbert this year. I need to see Michael Gallup, be the Michael Gallup of old now that he has some time away from that injury. But yeah, you can definitely say that, especially when you factor in some of the guys we're not talking about, like Avonte Turpin possibly being involved in the passing game. Tony Pollard might be getting more touches in the passing game. So I definitely think we got some playmakers. And look, Brandon Cooks, he was the number one receiver for several years. If I'm not mistaken, he has 6 seasons going over 1,000 yards as a player. That's not easy to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, and listen, Brandon Cooks is going to be a wide receiver that's going to cross the 10,000 yard mark before he retires. He's on pace to do that, unless he completely falls off a cliff or he gets injured. He's going to pass the 10,000 yard mark. So I'm very high on our receiving core, especially this 1-2 punch that we have, with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. I know we have not seen them on the field together just yet, but like they really complement each other. They really complement each other. So I'm excited about that. I want to see the numbers on the O lines that we have a problem with. I think I can work something out like that because he has been on it all day while we've been home. Okay. All good. My Chihuahua is my best friend. She's a Cowboy fan. Hey, that's what's up, man. What's the question, Joshua Fisher and Regina Green? I can pull up the numbers for the offensive line. What exactly is a one tech? A one tech is just a term for the defensive end. They got 2 spots. You can be a one tech or you can be a 3 tech. And to make this simple, just so you can understand, a guy like Jonathan Hankins, a guy like Mozzie Smith would be considered a one tech. A guy like Osa and Neville Gallimore would be considered a 3 tech. So just in theory, you would prefer your one tech to be your big body run stopper. 3 tech would be a guy that has a little bit more wiggle, might be able to affect the passing game a little bit more. That's an easy non-in-depth way of breaking it down. But usually your one tech is the guy that's your best run stopper. 3 tech is usually your guy that has a little bit more pass moves and wiggle. But they're both terms used for defensive tackles. Hey, what's up? Hey, tell her I say hi too. Salute to your best friend, Tommy. Salute. Michael Lockhart, what's up, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love to the liquor store, my guy. I appreciate you. So yeah, man. So what do y'all think about these lists? Like, which one do y'all think was more on point than the other? Yeah, one tech, fat boys in the middle. Yep, facts. Do y'all agree with Tony Pollard ranking? Do you agree with Dak and Brandon Cooks being the second best new quarterback wide receiver duo? I know we don't agree with this shit. So y'all talk to me, man. How do y'all feel about some of these lists, man? Tyler 2 said, my dog hates football because when we lose, I be screaming at the TV. Oh man. Yeah, I understand why your dog has PTSD. I can understand that. The combo is the only accurate one. I agree with that. The combo is the only, I believe that too. The combo is the only accurate one. CD Lamb is definitely better than Terry McLaurin. I think the wide receiver duo was fine too. I think like CD Lamb, Brandon Cooks. I would say that they're about that high. Though the other three guys, at least they're proven. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins helped their team get to a Super Bowl. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith helped their team get to a Super Bowl. Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle probably could. I ain't saying go to a Super Bowl, but they probably could have made some noise in the playoffs. Cowboys offensive line was ranked 4th. That is flawed, sacks defined, pass blocking. Well, there's more things, outside, of sacks that you got to look at. You have to look at pressures. You got to look at quarterback hits. You got to look at the penalties that your offensive line gives up, right? So there's more to it than just sacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, sacks are a very small part of it. Are they getting beat? Because there's sometimes that the offensive lineman gets beat and the quarterback just got rid of the ball before the defender can get there, or the quarterback was able to step up in the pocket or escape the pocket and still make a play. So sacks are a small part of it. You need to look at pressures. You need to look at the quarterback hits along with the sacks and also the penalties. So, and listen, all metrics will have flaws to them. You know what I'm saying? That there is not a perfect science to the breakdown of advanced analytics. There will be things that you agree with when it comes to advanced analytics, and there will be things that you disagree with. Like, I completely disagreed with Pro Football Focus's grade for Trayvon Diggs. How do you rank somebody so low who had 11 interceptions? So there are flaws to certain grading scales. There are flaws to certain analytics, but a lot of the time they are the best way that we have to quantify what we have, especially when a lot of these rankings for these offensive lines are predicated on the starters. A offensive line with Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, Tyler Biadasz, Terrence Steele is a great offensive line. The issue is that offensive line never plays together. Tyron Smith has only played 17 games in the last 3 years. You know what I mean? We have plenty of guys along our offensive line that miss a lot of times. Terrence Steele has missed time. So, just because an outlet has an offensive line ranked as something based on their opinions of each individual player's individual grades, we also have to factor in, well, damn, they don't really play together like that for that to even matter. Hey, what's up with them KJs? This is up HTM. Peace and blessings to the chat, aka only the trio. Facts. Just trying to prepare the nation for the breakup. I feel it. He said, Henny, I need to see the list. Okay. So since my brother Michael Lockhart didn't see the list, I'm gonna run them back through for y'all again. So this was a Pro Football Focus top 10 running back list. I don't agree with it. Tony Pollard should be at least a little bit higher, but whatever. As long as he's on the top 10, I don't think it's disrespectful. But at the same time, there's several things about this list I don't agree with. Because, I definitely wouldn't have Nick Chubb. Well, Nick Chubb is probably the best running back on here in terms of year in, year out production. And he stays healthier than Derrick Henry. So I understand that. But still, Josh Jacobs is a little low for somebody that just led the league in rushing, right? So I have my issues with this list. Oh, hey, Desmond Ironman, what's up with you, my boy? I appreciate you tapping in. Then we have this list, top 10 wide receivers. Hold on. Yeah, he definitely should be 5 at the lowest. He should definitely be 5 at the lowest. And then you have this list for the top 10 wide receivers. Noah Booty when you saw that Terry McLaurin was over CeeDee Lamb and Deebo Samuels. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, and I don't like giving the 49ers any credit. But Deebo Samuel is definitely better than Terry McLaurin, and CeeDee Lamb is easily better than Terry McLaurin. Just look at the last 2 seasons. CeeDee Lamb has more yards and more touchdowns. That's easy. It's easy to say. Right? So that list was flawed. This list was all right. Wide receiver duos, you know, they put CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks as the 4th best duo in the league. The only 3 duos that they got ahead of them are guys that actually played together. So I'm fine with that. And then they got Dak and Cooks as the 2nd best new quarterback wide receiver combo. And I'm fine with that too. Because Dak Prescott has a great track record when he receives new veteran receivers. He went crazy with Amari Cooper when they traded for him. He went crazy with Randall Cobb when they signed him in free agency. You know what I mean? So he has a very good track record. He has a very good track record with these new veteran wide receivers coming into the mix. So I like it. Wearing my Prescott jersey at the amusement park, smoking a Smeagol pack, sipping gin, and spit that trio, Henny. Hey, salute them KJs. I be trying, man. I be trying to give y'all some good ass content, man. And yeah, CeeDee Lamb, listen. CeeDee Lamb, you know, just by default, he can't be outside of the top 6. You know why? He was an All-Pro last year. There's only 6 spots. There's only 6 spots on the All-Pro team. You know, there's 3. You get 3 wide receivers for first team, and you get 3 wide receivers for second team. So CeeDee Lamb was one of the 6 best wide receivers in the league last year. So, you know, he has to be in the top 6 or top 5 by default, in my opinion. Cook fits Dak's skills better than D-Hop because his route runner separation, he's going to have the Cooper effect. I agree with that. He also fits the West Coast offense because he'll be good with run after the catch. And when they want to take shot plays, he still runs a 4-3 according to Dak Prescott and everybody else. So, you know, he still is a guy who could be a big play receiver in the passing game for you. So I definitely think he fits the scheme better than somebody like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not saying that DeAndre Hopkins is not a good wide receiver. No, he's a great wide receiver. I just feel like you said, scheme fit wise, he's a better fit for the West Coast offense. I think he can run over routes better. I think he can run after the catch better. I think he's a better down the field target in terms of getting separation. So yes, I definitely do agree with that sentiment, true Cowboys fan 1972. Joshua Fisher said puff puff pass. We smoke on that Eagles pack, man. You know, they got the boys in the blunt. So yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yo, man. But I just wanted to stop in and give y'all a quick show. I believe that I will be. Hey, shout out to Salter for the donation. They got you 2 more entries into the Dallas Cowboy raffle for the jersey. So salute to you. I appreciate you for your love and support. And if y'all want to be like Salter and improve your chances of getting this Dallas Cowboy jersey come the 31st, all you got to do is hit the Cash App. It's $Hennythemoor. It's at the bottom of the screen. Right there at the bottom left. So if you want to support, donate, enter for the raffle, that's how you do it. But what was I finna say, though? Oh, yeah, it's Q&A. So we got past the point where I wanted to talk about the list. You know, we can open up the conversation a little bit more, man. Like, it doesn't have to be about the list. It doesn't have to be about, hey, appreciate you, Miss Alton. I appreciate that. So it doesn't have to be about the list. It could be about OTAs. It could be about different players. It could be about, you know, whatever you want to talk about. Upcoming games. The positional battles. Whatever y'all want to talk about. This is the part of the show, you know, where y'all can freely talk. Y'all can freely say puff puff jail in my country. That gotta suck. You in Italy, right, my boy? You in Italy, so shit, they got some strict rules. Do you think KJ will be successful at safety? Man, what did KJ? Hey, man. I sent you another list to your DM on Twitter. I'm gonna take a look at that in just a second. Hey, Joshua Fisher, I think Stephen Jones low key has taken over now. Like he making a lot of decisions. We moving a little bit different too. So I definitely think Stephen Jones is already taking over. But Jerry Jones is still the figurehead. He's still Pappy, so he still make his public appearances and talk. But he's still out there. So, them KJ said, as a KJ, I'm rooting for KJ. Listen, I think that Kelvin Joseph will be a good safety if given the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he will fail. It's a deep safety room, and he did not play up to par. At cornerback. You know what I'm saying? Like and listen, we all know. Apparently, he was not happy that we said that, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie. The numbers say that he didn't play good. The numbers say he didn't play good at cornerback. So, I feel that's why he even taking snaps at safety right now. So, it is what it is. But, I have no personal ill will against Kelvin Joseph. I have no personal ill will against the boy. I just said he didn't play good. He didn't play good. Y'all think Hooker last year, this year? It depends on his price. If he played decent enough, I can see I can see Hooker coming back. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're a veteran player. The thing about the NFL is not about necessarily getting better, it's about getting cheaper. So, they can get his services for pretty decent money. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep Malik Hooker around as long as he wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Safety is already a position that did not make a ton of money, in comparison to other positions. So, hope they don't limit Hendershot. Then Kelsey say he reminds him of himself. It was either Hendershot or Ferguson. I forget. But, he had some glowing praise from one of the boys. I forget who it was. But, yeah, listen. The thing I want from OTAs, training camp, preseason, I just want it to be fair. I want it to be fair. I don't want them to have no predetermined starters. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be a flat out competition. If player A, plays better than player B, then, I want player A to play. You know what I'm saying? I don't want player A to play because player A was this high of a draft pick and player B with this low of a draft pick. No, I want the best player to play. If they go out there and outperform said player, that's who should play. I want there to be legitimate roster battles. That's all I'm saying. So and especially that ties back into the tight end room. That ties back into the tight end room. If Schoonmaker, goes out there and he does not outperform Ferguson or in Hendershot, then he doesn't need to be tight end 1 or 2. The guys who perform best during preseason, training camp, so on and so forth, should be the guys that play. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So, and listen, y'all know how I felt about Ferg and Hendershot. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that they didn't have the possibility of becoming good players. I just wanted them to keep Dalton Schultz because he already had the production over the projection. You know what I'm saying? Now, in a situation where I have more faith in those two guys, because what I did see compared to somebody that had limited snaps as a passing threat in college, I'm more comfortable with those two. I feel like those two were more set up to be successful. Yeah, Tyler too. You are correct. It's not necessarily how it is, but it happens like that. In a perfect world, we would have open camp battles and the best player plays, but we know that's not always the case. Cowboys will put best players on the field for the best shot at the Super Bowl. We gonna pray that prayer. We're gonna put that in the universe. We're gonna claim it. Because I want them to do that. That is exactly how you're supposed to do it. I don't care if this person is a first round pick and this person is a 7th round pick. If the 7th round pick outperforms the first round pick, like I want him to play. He said, I don't hate Schultz. He's just replaceable for cheaper. Well, he going. Hey, at this point, he's going to have to be replaceable. Cause hey, we lost a lot of production. We lost a lot of production losing Dalton Schultz. You think Jerry in good health, or is he a robot at this point? Rich people live forever. So like he ain't no telling. Like there really ain't no telling. Jerry Jones might live another 30 years, man. He might live another 30, 40 years with the way money and medicine work. Real talk. The tight end room about to be the next level. It was a one-trick pony with Schultz, no trade on Schultz, and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? He's gone now. You know what I'm saying? Like I did my complaining and stuff. He's an ask Magic Johnson. He said we lost 12 touchdowns with Zeke also. Yeah. So there's gonna be some production, that gotta be made up somewhere. And listen, I already did my complaining about Dalton Schultz not being on the team. So I already said my piece on that. Gotta support the guys that are here now. He said every draft he gets a transfusion, man. Jerry Jones gonna be 120 still walking out there talking to the media. But I like Jerry though, man. Like people give him a hard time, but he from Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas, so. Regina Green. Okay, you put a sticker. So y'all y'all continue to put y'all questions in here, man. I think these are some pretty damn good questions, man. So continue to put your questions in the chat box, man. What you want me to answer next? Dak may Schultz, he playing with rookie now. We're probably going to see a decline. Oh, you saying Schultz is probably going to see a decline? Well, listen, he going to see a decline just from the fact that he's going to go from a top 10 quarterback to a rookie. He gonna be playing with a rookie. So he'll see a decline just based on that. See JJ a vamp, just a southern one. Got to be able to block and catch at a high level in the tight end room. I can agree with that, especially at this point, so we're going to be relying heavily on the run game. One thing I do not say is my age or government name on here because of the kind of job that I work. I don't even drop clues. But yes, West Coast is slightly older, not by much, but West Coast is technically the big cousin. Technically. I definitely think about it this year. We got some free agency. I believe we got hot. Another wide receiver or help us put it over the top. I see, man. I think y'all sleeping, man, because listen. Jalen Tolbert came on here, so he sound like he finna go crazy. Michael Gallup, from what everybody's saying, sound like he back to being himself. I think, just by us upgrading from Noah Brown to Brandon Cooks, fixed majority of our wide receiver room problem. So you may have discussed this already, but there is gossip on TV about D-Hop maybe considering the Cowboys. What do you think? It depends. I'm like Bob Barker. If the price is right, man. If the price is right, we can get it. Because I don't necessarily think wide receiver is an area of need for the Dallas Cowboys. You got an all-pro wide receiver in CD Lamb. You got Brandon Cooks, who has 6,000 yard receiving season in his career. Been a number one every place he's went. You got Michael Gallup, who should be fully healthy this year. Then you got a top 100 pick in Jalen Tolbert. You got a 4.2, 4.3 guy in Kevontae Turpin, who they're talking about utilizing in the offense more this year. So I don't necessarily think you need a wide receiver, but at the same time, adding a wide receiver never hurts. I mean, like, what I'm saying? I don't need a C8 Corvette, but I damn sure not gonna turn one down. You know what I mean? I don't need a mansion, but I get the opportunity to live in one. I'm gonna live in one. So it just from that perspective. It depends on how extravagant the Dallas Cowboys are going to get with the offense. I'm a little worried about the O-line just because I don't want what happened last season to happen this year. I think the Dallas Cowboys have good offensive linemen that they have to play at the right spot. I think Tyron Smith should undoubtedly be your starting left tackle. I think Tyler Smith, he can play for left guard for you. He got the strength, and the nastiness to be a good left guard for you. Tyler Biadasz, Pro Bowl center, top 10 in run block win rate as a center at the center position. Zach Martin, future Hall of Famer. Terrence Steele, when healthy, is a very good right tackle. So you got the guys I think you need to play. The question is, are they going to be healthy for one? Right? Terrence Steele, is recovering from I think it was torn ACL. Tyron Smith, has played very limited games the last 3 years. You even had Tyler Biadasz, go down for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. So as long as they stay healthy and the Dallas Cowboys play them at their best positions, I think we got a very good line. I need 2 cute little blondes on a good. I think we need help at middle linebacker and O-line. Well, I definitely could see getting more offensive line depth, especially if there are questions about the availability of Terrence Steele. But, we play so much big nickel. I don't really know if Dan Quinn even feels the need to get another linebacker. Because remember, technically, the guy, J-Run Kearse, he's your green dot guy. J-Run Kearse, your green dot guy. So, I don't necessarily think Dan Quinn wants another linebacker. I think he prefers the speed that his safeties give him, because those safeties have the versatility. You can bring them as a blitzer. You can play them, as a coverage guy. You can play them as sort of a pseudo linebacker. And they already made it more viable option just by bringing in Monty Smith and retaining Jonathan Hankins. But you can't be super small at defensive tackle, then be small, right behind that too. So they already got bigger up front, to mitigate some of those unnecessary hits and unnecessary contact those hybrid guys were taking. So I think that I think you'll see this big nickel, for as long as Dan Quinn is here. I think just be used to seeing J-Run Kearse, who was a phenomenal player. I think that J-Run Kearse got snubbed for All-Pro selection in 2021. I definitely think if he had a bigger name, he would have been an All-Pro safety. Same way I say that Donovan Wilson got snubbed this year. So I definitely think you'll see Donovan Wilson and J-Run Kearse in the box a lot like you have been, and I think they'll continue to play good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think, Dan Quinn or the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff thinks they need another linebacker. If anything, I think they'll bank on the development of guys like Damone Clark. I think they'll bet on the development of Devin Harper. I think they'll bet on the development of Overshown eventually down the line. So I think they like their guys. You think Bell will get some tick? It really just depends on on how comfortable they are with him. Because guys get dinged here and there, have to lead the game, got to take a Gatorade break, got to run, take a piss. They ain't gonna be on the field all the time. So when they get subbed out, we'll see. It doesn't really depend on how comfortable they are playing him. How he has progressed in his development, just different things like that. Yeah, I like Bell. I like Bell. You know what I'm saying? He just played at a small school. But outside of that, he has the physical traits you want, willing hitter. I like Bell. It just, like I said, it's just really going to depend on the coaching staff and how much they trust him. And then it's also going to depend on who is really a safety, out here. Because we know Izzy will get in where he fits in. You know what I'm saying? Like he played corner, in college. He's playing safety in the NFL. He played nickel during the Bucks game. I ain't heard about Story Jackson since he got released. I know Landlord was high on the kid though. He said our Wiggins position is offensive line and running backs. I could see. I could definitely see how people could come to that conclusion. I don't. I'm higher on our offensive line than a lot of people are. If we do if we're really a no nonsense team that wants to play players in their best positions, I think we're fine at offensive line. But they want to play musical chairs with who starts and where they start. That's a different issue. And then really running back is an issue when it comes to our depth. Because there's not too many teams with a Tony Pollard. We just had the argument that Tony Pollard is probably a top 5 running back in the league right now, right? So like we're great at Tony Pollard. We just have question marks at the guy behind him, at the guys behind him. So that's and that's still not too bad. If the backup running back position have to be by committee, I'm fine. Because if you're giving Tony Pollard the needed amount of snaps, if Tony Pollard's going to be your lead back, get around the same amount of carries as Ezekiel Elliott did last year, then you can mitigate, the rest of the snaps. What I'm saying? You can split the rest of those snaps up however you want to. You can give Malik Davis 100 carries. You can give Lukey all the short yardage and goal line carries if you feel he's a better power back. So like you can go 3 deep at the running back room to mitigate some of that. If you don't have a true number 2 back, you just give these other guys opportunities. You give Malik Davis about 100 carries, and give Lukey like 80, 90, depending on how you want to utilize him. It just really depends on how the Dallas Cowboys want to go about it. No, don't get me wrong. If Dalvin Cook gets released, kick his door in, take him hostage. He got to make him become a Dallas Cowboy. But I don't necessarily think the running back room was going to hold us back too much. I could be wrong. Let's say I'm not right about everything. I'm just a guy giving his opinion. But I definitely do believe Dallas Cowboys will be fine at running back, at least in terms of depth. We don't have a guy at the level of Ezekiel Elliott anymore on the team. Because listen, even right now, Ezekiel Elliott is probably the best available running back until Dalvin Cook is released. So we'll have to go out there and see what we can do about improving our depth if we are not comfortable with it by the time the season starts or a couple games in. Clifford Smith, what's up with you, man? David tapping in, showing love to the liquor store, man. Honestly, if Dak is protected, then we definitely have a shot. Oh yeah. If you can keep Dak Prescott on his feet and you can give him some easy reads, give him some layups, don't just expect him to play Superman, then I think that we'll be fine. But man, I am super curious about what the hell West Coast called me about. I'm gonna go off the show so I can be nosy. So God bless y'all. I appreciate y'all. If everything goes according to plan, I'll be live sometime later on tonight. So God bless, and I will get at y'all later, man.